jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss. Now you counting stars. Should've practiced more. Should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
Big shout out to the first in the building. You already know Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. What it do, man? OGWCS, what's good? This one gonna be fire. No doubt about it, man. Shout out to the GOAT himself, man. Big Blunts and Boxing in the building, on deck. However you want to call it, man. He says Jaron wants to become a headliner. Unfortunately, I don't think he's ready. Not enough spectacular performance just yet. I think he'll headline one. A vacant belt is on the line. D Young on deck, man. What's good? Salute to you. Big shout out to everyone in the building. I know. Look, I'm gonna see if the room can fill up to a dime at least when we talk about Jaron Ennis. Because I know if I was talking about some hot grease when it comes to Crawford, anybody else, the room would be a dime already. It'd be 10 in the building already. You know what I'm saying? I just want to try to, do my own freaking control study. You feel me? I want to do my online control study to see if they really rocking out with Jaron Boots Ennis like that today. I know I can get 5 more on Jaron Boots Ennis, man. Come on, Boots Ennis on deck, man. Boots on the thumbnail, dog. Y'all rocking with Boots or not, man? Come on, man. Give me a dime in the building, man. Give me a dime. That's all I'm looking for, a dime. I ain't looking for a dime 5. I ain't looking for a goddamn dub. I'm looking for a dime, man. Y'all rocking with Boots Ennis, right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all rocking with Jaron Boots Ennis. Show the man some love, man. Show the man some love. Because truth be told, Jaron Ennis feels that he's no longer a co-main eventer. He's no longer in the support role. He should be headlining. That's what Jaron Ennis feels. Come on, man. Fill up the building. Let me know you on deck, man. So Boots finna headline in Philly. I seriously doubt he'll headline in Philly. I mean, they may give him a card over there, but you know how that goes. You know, what's the capacity is going to be at? You know what I'm saying? He really want to headline somewhere at the Hulu. You know what I'm saying? You want to check out the Hulu or something. You know what I'm saying? Or freaking, Brooklyn, at the Barclays. You know what I'm saying? They can put Boots versus Thurman on the Spence versus Bud card. See, there you go again, man. Relax, man. So I can't get a dime off Boots. Boots say he's done, man. He want a headline. He's done playing second fiddle. You know what I'm saying? He's not in the band like that. If he's gonna be in the band, he's playing the drums. That's what Boots Ennis wants. He wants y'all to hear the drums when he walks out, because he feels it's that time. He wants you to hear the drums, y'all. You know how them drums be sounding when something spectacular is about to happen. I can't even get 10 in the building on Boots, man. Come on now. Stop playing, dog. This brother deserves that. Don't blame it on the channel now. Come on, man. Show Jaron Ennis some love, man. Put a dime on deck. Let's put a dime on deck, man. Let's get 10 in the building, bro. And Jaron Ennis. He don't want a damn support system. He don't want a co-main. He wants the headliner. I know it's more people out there that rock with Jaron Ennis than 6. That's disrespectful, real talk. I'm doing my own control study. The first ever control study conducted in the boxing community is right here, right now. I'm doing my control study. I want to see how many casual boxing fans would tune in to see what I have to say about Jaron Ennis. Show the man some freaking respect, man. Shout out to him and Bozy, dog. He deserves a larger audience than 6 people if he is intending to persuade the people that he is ready to headline. Jaron Ennis is saying he is ready to headline. Stop the press. He is ready to headline, y'all. Booth just had a disappointing performance against Corinne. He got some nerve. Shout out to Stickum Boys on Jack Fishing and Sports. Yeah. Salute WCS. Salute to the chat fam. Salute to you, fam. What's good with it? Salute to you. Come on, man. I'm doing a control study, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing a control study. I'm trying to see, can I get 10 in the building, consumers, content creators, listeners, casuals, because Jaron Ennis has been on record, is as saying that he no longer wants to be a anything. He wants to be the man of the hour at the top of the card, headlining. He wants the headline. And before I get into it, I just want to see how many people are rocking with the description and the thumbnail, because I'm telling you what he want to do. I can't get 10 solid people on deck so I can begin to talk about Jaron Ennis, man. That's just a lack of courtesy, a lack of etiquette, in my opinion. But let's get down to it, man. I'm not going to be able to get a dime on deck. You see this, Jaron? You see how they're doing you? That's why, you love the sport. Don't ever love the fans. Love the sport first. Love the fans third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, 15, 20. Love the fans 30th. Because the fans, regardless of what you got going on, Jaron, they're not going to dip in and see what needs to be said. And I'm going to get to why it's probably difficult for them just to pile in on deck when they hear your name there, Ennis. So let's get down to my guy. Yes, sir. Jaron Ennis, man. He's sitting at 30 victories, man. A cool 30 victories. Dude is only 25 years old. Shout out to Jaron Ennis, Bozy Ennis, man, out of Philly. 30 victories and 27 knockouts. If that ain't a record that you can sit back and admire, I have no idea what to tell you. Now, we already know where he at in the rankings. We already know that he is absolutely in line at the welterweight division. We know this. How long he'll be at the welterweight division, I don't know. But I think him and his father, when it comes to their itinerary, they're definitely not trying to relocate yet until they pick up one of those titles that Errol Spence has. And they're trying to figure out when and where it's going to happen. But this man sits at, this is some of the statistics. Let's go off, physical dimensions. His height, 5'10". Solid height for a fighter this weight class, 5'10", reach 74 inches. Check this out. He has an 87.1% KO ratio. All right. Now, WCS has been on record, as I say it again. I am not overly impressed at all. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not impressed at all of his resume. I'm not. I've been on record as saying that. I gotta keep it honest, and I'm not digressing from that. His resume is mediocre to me, right? He's fought the likes, in the last, I would say 5 fights, right? He fought the likes of Chris Van Heeren, so I can't exclude him because the fight was over, and it was a no contest. But let's go to Juan Carlos Abreu. You know what I'm saying? Stopped him in 6 rounds, right? And then arguably one of the more important boxers on his resume is Sergey Lipinets, the former 140-pound champion Sergey Lipinets. He stopped him in 6 rounds. And then Thomas Delorme, as much as I have to mention this guy, I really don't like mentioning him when it comes to Ennis's resume because the man was coming off a couple of losses prior to stepping in the ring with Jaron Ennis. This, by far, out of the previous 5 fights that he's had, is the worst. Even though he stopped him in round 1, it is the worst name that could have been selected to be on Ennis's resume at this point when he was vying to be the top dog to get that title shot, right? So Thomas Delorme gets stopped in the first round. Okay. Then we get Custio Clayton. Now, the funny thing I try to explain to people all the time when we're talking about the tip of the spear, right? We're talking about boxers who totally understand what the format is, what the entire structure and foundation consists of when it comes to boxing. I explained to you all the Garden of Life. I explained to you all about the Garden of Life, on how the Garden of Life produces tomatoes. Now, those tomatoes are deceptive in themselves too. You can be, you can have organic tomatoes, you can have naturally grown tomato, whatever you want to do with it, right? They have different type of tomatoes. Custio Clayton did not look like a tomato when he walked in there with Jaron Ennis. Custio Clayton came in there with a nice label on it. 19 victories, 0 defeats, y'all. 1 draw. Now, I've been on record. I don't come on here calling fighters bums and stuff like that. No. But I will say that they're from the garden of life when it comes to the tomatoes, when it comes to the farming and agriculture of boxing. Yes, I can say Custio Clayton was absolutely one of those recent fighters who made it from the garden to the arena. Yes, he did. Custio Clayton had a beautiful, I mean, when you look at the numbers, it's beautiful. 19 victories, 0 defeats. That looks so great. But he was absolutely very, very saucy when he came in there with Jaron Ennis, and he was stopped in 2 rounds. No. It's not just the 19-0. It's the fact that the man didn't even try. It's the fact that he was just rolling around the ring like Chris Algieri was when he was in there fighting Conor Benn. It was gymnastics all over again. I didn't like this shit, man. Custio Clayton, man, you lost a fan that you never had. If I was thinking about supporting Custio Clayton, I said, nah, I can't do it. Because you came in there with the orders. Why did you need the orders against Jaron Ennis? I don't know. But Custio Clayton went out in 2 rounds, man. I can't give him no more love. So that happened back in May of 2022. He steps in the ring January 7th, 2023, right? And this was in the DMV. Okay? This was in the DMV, and this is the culminating moment because Jaron Ennis is fighting for IBF interim world title on the co-main event of Gervonta Davis and Hector Luis Garcia. When Hector Luis Garcia stepped up to the lightweight division, it was for the first time. Now I'm gonna do a little bobbing and weaving on this. So Hector Garcia was able to step in there with Tank, who was 27-0 at the time. Hector Garcia was 16-0, and he was a champion at 130 pounds, junior lightweight division, right? So he got the shot at Gervonta Davis. But that's not what I'm talking about. Jaron Ennis fought a guy called Jaron Chudikin or something like that. I'm just gonna say Chudikin, right? And he went the entire 12 rounds for the IBF interim world welterweight title. This fight right here was somewhat like him crossing the line. It was the line of departure for Jaron Ennis, because this fight right here, he felt that he fought for a title. He felt that it was his time to perform at a higher level in front of the boxing fans. He felt enough when he had his hands raised, walking back to the dressing room, that he was satisfied. He was appeased at his performance for him to now come to the forefront and say, I don't want a co-main event no more, based off my last performance of Karen Chudikin, based off me co-headlining and my NIL, my name, image, and likeness. People know who I am. I think it's time for me to main event. Now, with all that said, all I'm doing is just dressing this shit up, because with the pros come the cons. All right. So therefore, Jaron Ennis was on this card. And of course, Gervonta Davis stole the night. It was going to happen. But let's explain some things about this main event and the co-main event. Gervonta is who he is, and he's there for a reason. He's on pay-per-view. Okay. He is absolutely an attraction. He is an attraction, a boxing attraction. No doubt about it. Now, with that attraction, let's bleed that over to Jaron Ennis. Is Jaron Ennis attraction for main event right now? Does he even have a point of reference that we can start at to say, okay, let's pick this fight to say it's time for him to turn it over and become a boxing attraction? Has he got there yet? I'm curious. Is it a fight that you all have seen that you say that is the fight that validates Jaron Ennis now being certified to be a main attraction, and that the people outside of Philadelphia will come and see him fight? I'm just going to give you a little bit of time. Shout out to True Media Today, USA Boxing Coach Malachi in the building. What's good there, Coach? Salute to you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Andrew Charles in the building, man. On deck. You know what I'm saying? What's good? I'm looking at Jaron Ennis. Last performance. And it's not what I expected. I'm just being Ennis. I'm trying to be the sleight of tongue, and I hope that didn't offend nobody. But I'm just being Ennis right now. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to be fake. I'm just being Ennis about it. Jaron, we wasn't overly joyed or overly excited in your last performance in an opponent that we felt that you were supposed to stun on this guy. You were supposed to show that you was the more domineering fighter. You were supposed to show that you had the higher ring IQ and the education to break this guy down. You were supposed to demonstrate to us that, yes, you was the boxing authority that was inside the square. You was the name that everybody's talking about, that you were supposed to what? You were supposed to solidify that you was an elite fighter, and it was time to elevate to the next level of main eventing. That's what you were supposed to do in the Korean fight. You were supposed to show us that now you are certified for the elite level through your performance, brother. We did not get that from you, Jaron. I know at 25 years old, when you're that young and you have that many wins on your record, people in your ear, people saying, Boots, man, you don't need the name co-headline no more, man. You big enough. And I'm saying to myself, in all Ennis, for real, I'm not being fake about this, Jaron. I don't think at this point in time in your career, brother, that you should be headlining a fight just yet. Now, listen to me, man. I'm not hating on you or nothing, man. I got mad love for you. You're gonna be at least about a 4 division champion or higher, minimal 4 division champion before you get out the sport. You're mad talented. You're mad talented and have unlimited potential in the sport of boxing. But with 30 professional fights, when it comes to the welterweight division, I can't pick a fight of your last 5 fights that would get me to say, you know what, I am convinced that this fight right here, which should be the Korean fight, that's what basically wraps up everything for me. That's what tells me, without a shadow of a doubt, Jaron Ennis is where he's supposed to be on the main event. He's ready to compete with those individuals that have had pay-per-views. Now, when we come to the welterweight division, it's extremely difficult to say that we have pay-per-view stars because we don't have pay-per-view stars at the welterweight division. We have the highest, we'll have Errol Spence with Mikey Garcia. That's a whole different thing. We really don't, you know what I'm saying? Mikey Garcia matching up, with Errol Spence was a very good matrimony when it came to to linking up with the matchmakers and stuff, because Mikey Garcia was already established and Errol Spence was in the process of establishing himself, right? We talking about a 4-weight champion, and we talking about a single division champion. But this is where I'm trying to get to stay on point, right? We don't have pay-per-view stars at the welterweight division. So I'm being extremely honest with myself. Okay, Boots? That's where I can say it wouldn't be too bad for them to attempt to put you on pay-per-view moving forward. I'm talking about maybe 2 fights from now, because there's no pay-per-view stars in the welterweight division. I'm not saying you can't be a pay-per-view star. I'm just saying right now, looking at your record, based off my assessment and how I examine your names, Cusio Clayton can't be him. Cusio Clayton with 19-0 can't be him. The O looks good, but he can't be him, bro. He can't be him. Korean Chudikin, 21-1, can't be him. Because you went the distance with a guy, which a lot of people was believing that, man, you're so talented, you should have wrapped this guy up in a bow, man. You should have wrapped him up in a box, put a bow on it, and shipped his ass out. I'm not saying you shouldn't have went to the distance or nothing like that. When I say wrap him up with a bow, I'm talking about convincingly, you're in control of everything. You're in control of everything. You know what the present's like. You know what I'm saying? You know what the gift is. You the gift. You didn't present the gift that you was a gift to me when you was in there with Corinne. You just didn't do it. You didn't give that vibe. You didn't give me that performance value, bro. So I can't really take somebody at the last 5 and say it's time for Jaron to elevate. You're talking about main eventing, and they're going to give you one close to your hometown. But you got to think about this, Jaron. You got to ensure that your name is big enough in Philly for them people to get out their freaking their comfort of their domicile and come out and pack the house and sell it out. We're not talking about no regional shit. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about 500 seats. We have to get you close enough so your people can come out in Philly and check you out, brother, because you are extremely talented. But when it comes down to your last performance, it's just some pockets of that fight that just didn't get it done. They didn't check the box to a lot of people. It just seems like you didn't have a plan B or C. You know what I'm saying? You seem like your education was a bit restricted when it came to your boxing IQ, because we was looking for you to delegate the curriculum to Corinne and show him that you was the professor and he was the student there, Jaron. That's what we was talking about, bro. We wanted to see the professor and the student, homie. That is it, bro. It has nothing to do with hate. It has nothing to do with me being, trying to give you all these damn all this constructive criticism and no support. No, brother. I'm giving you my opinion. I cannot base what I'm reading in the media that it is time for you to main event. I don't see it. I'm gonna tell you another reason there, Boots. This is why I don't see you being a main eventer right now. Because every time the welterweight division comes up, it's usually Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, right? Okay. Recently, Virgil Ortiz dropped out the fight with Stantionis, right? Everybody's like, oh man, Virgil Ortiz, he came down with that stomach ailment again, and he's out. Boom, he drops out the fight. So you have boxing fans waiting for Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, right? Have no idea what the GPS is on that. We have no idea what the ETA is on that. Okay, let that ride. Then we already got the medical report on freaking Ortiz and Stantionis. Let that ride. Now, right at this moment, we do have other names that are in the welterweight division, brother. You are one of them. I seen Yordenis Ugas taking pictures with Brian Mendoza. You know what I'm saying? I seen that. I seen all this online. I saw Yordenis Ugas taking pictures with Brian Mendoza, who just knocked out Sebastian Fundora. I seen all this. I didn't have to wipe my eyes, brother. But you know what I didn't see? I didn't see anyone talking about you, bro. Jaron, I did not hear anybody talking about you. See, you have to have that effect where if you don't have a fight coming up, people are wondering what's going on with you. People are trying to figure out what's next. People are they're not trying to find out what's next with you, bro. Look, that's only for now, brother. That's only for now that they're not looking for you. It doesn't mean they can't. One fight can change it all for you. One fight can change it all, brother. But all I'm saying is for my assessment, right? I'm looking at all the news and I'm paying attention and I'm just basically, you know what I'm saying, skimming the area. I am combing through, collecting all my visuals, cataloging the information, and I'm seeing the stuff with Virgil Ortiz and Stantionis. I'm seeing the stuff out here with Ennis and Crawford. I'm just seeing all this stuff just bleeding over on the welterweight division, right? I'm seeing Yordenis Ugas. I'm seeing, him taking a picture with Brian Mendoza because, they know each other. He's there, a good friend who just had a tremendous fight at 154 with an astounding finish there, Ennis. With an astounding finish. Over everything I just mentioned, I didn't hear one peep of someone on the YTC or someone closer to you saying, I wonder what Ennis is up to. I think he should fight so-and-so. What's going on? What is he up to? Man, we got to find out. Let's try to get him on the show. Let's try to get him here, get him there. That's what you need. Your name got to be buzzing. When you out the ring, you in the ring. You know why? Because people are asking where you at. When you trying to goddamn have peace, you can't have peace because people out there trying to find out where you at and what you doing. That's when you know you should be a main eventer or a headliner. When you out the ring, you chilling and they want to be in your business. Nobody's trying to be in your business. Swat Jones on deck. Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz and more on deck, man. Mr. Gumbo, a.k.a. Hot Grease, a.k.a. Mr. Sucker Free in the building, man. What's good with it, my brother? Martin King Boxing on deck. Salute to you. Shout out to Mr. Gumbo with the $50 super chat, my brother. I was cooking. Didn't see your super chat on deck. I like the color, though. I like the color, bro. Thank you for your support. King Ryan is an attraction. Hey, I gotta stay on topic, Gumbo. Hey, I appreciate your super chat, brother. You know what I'm saying? 50 on deck, man. Much appreciated, brother. Hell no, I haven't seen anything that will warrant Boots a main event. Boots smoking some good shit. Try to get to some of these. It's crazy how folks just fell off Boots train after Korean. Boots still a bad. Okay, good point. I'm gonna get to that. You know what I'm saying? Jones, I'm gonna get to that. You feel me? The OG on deck, Bruce Gas Boxing. They're gonna give Cody Crowley to Boots watch. Okay, so back to Boots, man. As I was saying, bro, all I was doing is like checking it out, man. I was observing, paying attention. I was exerting my effort. I know I don't speak about you a lot, but that doesn't mean I don't support you, brother. I was paying attention to the buzz that was going on. I was saying to myself before I do this live, days ago, because I was just trying to see where your name will surface. People want to talk about you. People will get interest of what you got going on. I'm gonna tell you, Jaron, you need to find a better PR to get your name out there. Else you're gonna be one of those talented fighters that nobody pays attention to. I'm being honest. I'm giving you the best constructive criticism that I believe I can give you. You're a talented fighter with 30 victories, and nobody is looking for you. It's not the fact that you can't fight. It's the fact that you have a name, image, and likeness, right? And prior to you stepping in there with Korean, people was giving you high praise, high marks. But when you went in there and you just looked like you lost control of what was supposed to be going on, like you didn't know what the lesson plan was, like you was just going off the cuff. Hell no, shawty. At your point in your career, you can't do that, brother. You can't do that. If you was in there making the fight look easy, like they criticized Chris Stevenson and him fighting Yoshino. If you was in there making the fight look easy, it wouldn't be no criticism. They said that's what you're supposed to do. But even in pursuit of your opponent, who was absolutely on the unicycle, right? He was able to counter you sometime when you was in pursuit. He was having moments in there that was making your fans say ooh and ah. Oh my God, what? He did. Oh, no, he didn't. They was looking at Korean have some moments with you, bro. You can't allow a guy like that to have moment after moment after moment. I'm not saying you don't supposed to get hit. I'm saying that it was moments that Korean looked like he was having fun in there with you. Me, myself, their Boots, I was looking for him to be uncomfortable. I was looking for you to frustrate this man. You are a multifaceted fighter where people highlight you being a switch hitter. If you are a switch hitter, and you have this different dynamic as a boxer, put that shit on display. Show out for us, bro. You need to show out for us and make it look quite simple when you going in there and dancing on them. Because when the whole welterweight division has different fighters being spoken on for different reasons, and your name is not even nowhere close, like your name is nowhere close to the lips of those individuals that's supposed to support you. They're not even talking about you. So how are you going to be a main event, bro? How are you going to come up here and have us talking about you and give interest when you're not even being talked about? Boots, you need to change up your PR. You need to find a way to grow your brand and get more exposure, bro. I'm telling you sincerely, man. Nobody's talking about you. You're doing nothing wrong. You treat the sport the way it's supposed to be treated. You're not out here effing up. You're not out here, being filmed in the club, getting a goddamn strip, strip in your lap. You're not out here getting caught up in DUIs. You know what I'm saying? You're not pump faking the sport. You're not doing none of that, brother. You're doing what you're supposed to do outside the ring. But I'm gonna tell you another moment that led me to this. That was on fight night there, Boots. When Gervonta Davis finished knocking out Hector Garcia and he was walking back to his dressing room, I saw you up against the wall with that IBF title. And when Gervonta walked past you, you know, he kind of, I think he said, I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he carried on a long conversation with you to say, hey, man, you know, good fight out there, this, and this. He was returning, and it seemed like he might have gave you a head nod and said, okay, good fight, and kept on walking. But what I'm trying to get to is that you was over there by yourself. You know, you was basically putting something in a bag or something like that, but you had the title out. So after your fight, I just paid attention slightly to how the YTC was going to be talking about your name out here. And they too was giving criticism. I'm not saying everybody, but those voices who refuse to give criticism about your performance, they're not being honest with you. You know what I'm saying? They're not being honest with you. Because it was criticism to be given, as always. But the main reason why I'm on here and I'm saying what I'm saying about you, brother, because they just did an article. Like, I see this article out, especially with boxing scene. Let me read some of this article for you there, Boots. All right. The title is Jaron Ennis. I feel like I'm not a co-main fighter anymore. The article starts off by saying playing second fiddle isn't the DNA of Jaron Ennis. It has to be in the DNA because he ain't been main event yet. It has to be a little bit in the format of how you came on in boxing. All the blood, sweat, and tears. If you look in the DNA, you know how to put it on the microscope that you have been a co-main eventer. So it had to be in your DNA. You're just trying to grow out of it now. I get it. It goes on to say why he's continued to rack up explosive victory after explosive victory. The current IBF welterweight titleist has spent his last 3 bouts in a supporting role. Although his career has benefited greatly, at the young age of 25, the Philadelphia native has grown tired of sharing the spotlight. Jaron Ennis has grown tired of sharing the spotlight. I feel like I'm not a co-main event fighter anymore, said Ennis to Hardcore Boxing News. Well, I never was. I feel like I'm a main event pay-per-view anything. It goes on to say, and we're going to get back to what he just said. It goes on to say this. Viewed as a fighter with a unique and fan-friendly style, Ennis 30-0, 27 KOs, has forced the rest of the division's mainstays to take notice. When last seen, the switch-hitting star effortlessly boxed circles around Karen Chudikin, winning every round against his overmatched foe just a few short months ago. But while the victory allowed him to snag a secondary trinket, he wasn't the main attraction on that night. After Ennis cruised to a victory, a jam-packed Washington, D.C. stood on his feet as both Gervonta Davis and Hector Garcia waged an all-out war. In the end, it was Davis who rose and shone, winning via technical knockout in the 9th round. Okay? This is what I want to highlight. Jaron Ennis, you said, well, I never was. You say you never been a co-main eventer. I feel like I'm a main event pay-per-view anything. Bro, don't you understand that in order for you to take a visual on this entire, point that you're trying to make about not being a headliner anymore, don't you know it's plenty of information out there for you to look at when it comes to PBC and Showtime? It is so much information and data of fighters who have achieved more than you, and they still don't get the recognition. They still don't get the shoe shine. You have Jermell Charlo, who is the freaking undisputed champion. People talk about him more than they talk about you. They just know from his MIL, his name, image, and likeness, who he is, his brand, who he is before he even became undisputed. You have to look at some of the bigger names. Caleb Plant. Let's look at Caleb Plant this over your way. People know who Caleb Plant is. He's been in there with Canelo Alvarez's. You know what I'm saying? He's been a champion at super middleweight division. He's been in there making a name for himself. The fights that he was supposed to step up and show that he was the A side, he did. He showed that he was the A side, bro. Errol Spence, you already know who he is, man. Even though he's not so-called signed strictly with Showtime. That leads me to this. I don't know who you signed to, because it was when the BLK situation was going back and forth. Supposing you're not signed, you just have an agreement. I don't know what that's about. I know once upon a time you was locked into a very nasty situation with Chris Minnendorf and Victory Boxing Promotions, and it took you to some legality issues, and you finally was able to spread your wings. Apart from that, whoever is with you, there's one more link. I'm not going to speak on that link, but there's one more link that's with your team that should understand what needs to be done to get Jaron Ennis up in the clouds. Right now, when it comes to the welterweight division, Jaron, your name is grounded, shawty. Your name is grounded, and it should be in the air. It should be in the air, Ennis. Your name isn't floating around. Your name doesn't have a flight schedule. None of that. Your name is grounded at the end of the day when it comes to welterweight division. It's no way that you can say that you never been. You said that you never was a co-main eventer, bro. How do you come to that conclusion? You're 25 years old. I guess you looking around and you saying, okay, Shakur Stevenson. All right. I see Shakur Stevenson headlining. I think I'm just as good as Shakur Stevenson. I got more experience than Shakur Stevenson. I get where you can see neighboring fighters getting that shine. It's not a lot of them, but you can see it. You might pay attention to a Teofimo Lopez who was able to win the championship in 15 fights. Half of the victories that you got right now, he was able to pick up the IBF title. Somewhat like you have in your possession now, Shouty. I know it's the interim, but Teofimo at 15 fights won the IBF. He claims Brooklyn. He claims it. He was able to do it in 15, and then in 16, he went in there and beat the pound for pound. Vasil Lomachenko. I can understand that, Jaron, where are you going with this when you say, I never was? You want people to believe that, hell no, I don't supposed to be no co-main event. I see too many people that I have way more wins than. I got a name. I'm Jaron Boots Ennis. I need to be at the main event. And people like myself, I'm going to say, not right now, bro. I don't know who you need to fight, but you need to fight somebody with a name and go in there and have a star pupil performance so people can start talking about you. Look, hey, these people on the YTC that's supposed to rock with you hard. I'm not talking about YSM. YSM be putting in work. He in the trenches. I'm not talking about YSM Sports. Okay. This is not pertaining to him, because shout out to YSM. He be doing the damn thing. He's basically locked in and loaded over in camp. It's going to take more than YSM, bro. He's doing his job there, Boots. Your media guy over there, he's doing his freaking job. But as far as you stepping inside the square, you saying all the right things, you doing a little bit more so people can recognize you, bro? Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it, man. I don't see it, brother. Jamal Neasy in the building. Boots look like a clout chase that went wrong. Damn. I'm not on here to put out a live and say that Jaron Ennis, he isn't who he say he is. He's highly skilled and highly talented. But unless you allow the grade to come from the fans, the consumers, They're grading you of high value. They saying, Jaron Ennis, this what we want. This who we want to see next time out. We want to see him again. That's who we looking for. But that Koran freaking performance, it's just a short little hiccup, bro. That's all. It's a short hiccup. I would advise you in between time, being that you haven't stepped in the ring again, please don't talk about main eventing off of performance as Koran. Bro, I can only prognosticate. I mean, I wouldn't say prognosticate, bro. I can only assume, right, where you going with this, because you have basically injected the standard operating procedures of boxing and inflating your record up to where it is, because your record is mediocre. All right. But boxing allows fighters to inject mediocre resumes up to where Jaron Ennis is at right now, and several other fighters. That's not my point, man. I'm not criticizing you for that. I'm not criticizing, because it's a format of boxing. When you have very minimal prerequisites for these fighters to lace up, then I can't come in here and dog out Jaron Ennis like he did something that nobody else has done. He just followed along, and he's at a point right here in his career where he's at the higher rankings. I did an entire live back in the day on Jaron coming into the rankings at 15 and how quick it took him to get where he was. I did an entire live on it, right? So now you where you want to be in the rankings, you haven't been able to switch stances, bro. You haven't been able to shift gears and elevate yourself to the point where when you have so much going on in the welterweight division and people are moot about the Crawford Spence situation, and they already know what happened to Ortiz and this, that, and the other. They don't know what's going on with Thurman. No one's talking about you, Jaron Ennis. Nobody. Once again, I ain't talking about why it's him. Why is him do what he have to do? Blunt say the crowd was booing during that fight, and Koran and Boots was laying on the ropes, not doing nothing. Koran had to tell him, come on and fight me. When Koran start to antagonize, you know what I'm saying? When the B side began to stand up and say, oh shit, this ain't as hard as I thought it was. Oh shoot, that ain't good. That isn't what we're looking for as fight fans. That isn't what we're looking for when we come out to see you co-main event. We're not looking for that. Look at this. Let me explain something else to you there, Boots. When you look at the main event, Gervonta Davis still had the entire DMV. It doesn't matter if he was next door in Baltimore. People came there to see Gervonta Davis fight a guy who's never fought at 135 pounds before in his career. His claim to fame is what? Beating a Chris Colbert in a title eliminator who hasn't did anything. That was Hector Garcia's claim to fame that would allow him to go through that door at 135 and compete in his debut with Gervonta Davis on the main event. He had a moment. He had a moment. Look, even Frank Martin had a moment. Even Frank Martin had a moment. But I'm just telling you, it takes for you to open up the door and have that moment there, Jaron Ennis. You haven't had that moment. Sergey Lipinets wasn't your moment, bro. It could have been your moment if Sergey, let me see, if Sergey was a different fighter. Like, yeah, you talking about a former champion who Mikey Garcia beat up. Okay, but no, he's not it. The dynamic has to be right. See, Hector Garcia and Chris Colbert, the dynamic was right. They was lining themselves up for Roger Gutierrez. The dynamic was right for that particular fight. You know what I'm saying? Gervonta Davis is a star already. He has the it factor. He goes in there and he gets the job done. He cleans up nice when it comes to his performances. But you, Ennis, that Korean fight kind of set you back. Now I'm gonna give you a perfect example of a comparison of fights that could set you back. I speak about this all the time about Shakur Stevenson. Shout out to Stevenson, man. Very superb, masterful boxer, right? But when he fought Toko Konklari and Nakathila, they criticized the shit out of Shakur Stevenson. They said that he was overrated and he wasn't the goods, and you know, this performances was absolutely subpar. Nobody's looking to come see Shakur Stevenson fight. They was on him. Is anybody talking about that besides me now? Nobody's mentioning that. The man has went on the pick up titles with Joet Gonzalez in a vacant. And then he went in there and to beat Jamel Herring. And then he went in there and did what he was supposed to do in the same fashion for which you were supposed to do with Korean, because you was fighting for an IBF interim title, brother. Shakur Stevenson was unifying at the time. He went over there to Oscar Valdez, who is considered an elite fighter, also a two-weight champion at the time. He went over there and made the fight look easy. This is a guy who was coming off a brutal finish of Miguel Burchelt, their Jaron Ennis. You were supposed to go in there and give us a lightning moment. You're supposed to electrify the crowd, and you couldn't get it done. I'm just saying, you couldn't get it done, bro. All I got to say is that they don't really care about boots. Michael Jackson voice. Got to be in the DNA because his brother wasn't a main eventer either. Hey, look, I don't know why people want to be in the DNA, because it's a structure that goes on here. You know what I'm saying? You ask these fighters that are competing out the door on TV, there is certain type of individuals who are cut from that cloth who compete under the bright lights when they first come on the scene. That's tough. And then you have them work their resume all the way up to the point where they might be ahead of some of the guys who didn't have that opportunity, who didn't have that door ajar when it came time for them to turn professional. Yeah, the dudes who stepped on the scene under the bright lights when they turn professional, indeed, they may get preferential treatment. Real talk. Boots don't really have much of personality to sell either. You don't see him. Okay, good point. Just like I was saying earlier, Jones say you don't have much of a personality. You know what, Boots? I have to 1,000% agree with him, man. That is part of your PR. That is part of your brand. You can't think that you're going to sell out arenas and people are going to be clamoring with long lines in the rain. Man, I don't care about this rain, man. I got to go see this dude in person. I got to see him in person, man. I got to see Boots in person, man. I got to see him. I don't care about the rain, man. My girl, she'll get her hair fixed again, man. It'll be all good. Baby, don't worry about it. I know your hair messed up, but we get to see Boots in person. They're not saying that, man. You don't give them anything. Like, you know, you're very plain type of guy. Like I said earlier, you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing right. You don't need to get in trouble. You don't need to go out here and get arrested. You don't need to do any of that shit. You being a model citizen outside the roles, but you in a sport. In order for you to go to the main event and get the pay-per-view status, brother, you need to find a way to take all that other stuff I just talked about and be a criminal inside the ring. You need to start being an absolute criminal. What did music say? What did your Hot Tucker's father say? They stepping on crime. You need to step on crime inside the ring, bro. I'm just being honest. You need to step on crime. You need to go up there and be an absolute criminal when it comes to your opposition. You need to find a way to be able to become more user-friendly when it comes to the cameras. When they're interviewing Boots, they need to understand what that's about. They're about to get a good interview. I mean, it seems like you just don't know what to say. It's like the material. You need to look at other fighters that's out here with that attraction, that people are looking forward to see what they have to say post-fight after getting a victory. You need to know how to bump that up. Now, look, the only reason people was talking about you after your fight with Cassio Clayton and freaking Errol Spence was over there, and you was talking about the big fish, there was nothing wrong with that. But you need to amplify that. You need to amplify that because Errol Spence is somewhat like, if you're going to throw out the hook, continue to throw out the motherfucking hook. We don't give a damn what he got going on there, Boots. You get on there at YSM, he's locked in the gym. Say, you know what? I'm still waiting on to see what Spence doing. He ain't doing shit. I'm over here waiting. I'm growing impatient. I might have to go over there to Texas and find out for myself. We might need to have an unsanctioned title fight. I need to go over there and get that work. Since he ain't trying to fight me with a sense of urgency over here in Philly. Since I don't hear him talking over there in Texas about me, I need to find out what's going on. Maybe I need to take a flight. Look into the camera and tell Spence, what's up, man? I'm the IBF interim title holder, man. I don't have all day waiting. What's going on? Are you going to fight me or what? Are you going to fight Crawford? If not, I'm here. You're not saying any of that. You quiet. You know what I'm saying? You being a model student. Maybe it's time to be rambunctious there, Jaron Ennis. Maybe it's time to be rambunctious. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's time to be rambunctious. Because nobody is cracking a smile when you in front of the camera, bro. Someone said on Twitter, bro fights once in a blue moon and isn't active online or anywhere else, but somehow thinks he a headline or main event. This is Showtime syndrome. Inactivity equal fame. I agree. And that's a solid point, man. It's a solid point. I like that. I like what I'm reading. I like that. You know what I'm saying? You fighting every blue moon. You got to get to that status first to be in a Spence or a Crawford. You got to get there first. Like they can be out of the ring and their name is still saturating the algorithm. More so Bud Crawford, of course. I have to keep it a G. But you understand what I'm saying there, Jaron? Like they still talking about it. You know, regardless they talk about Crawford more, they still gonna bring up Spence's name. You got to get to that point. You have 30 victories, brother. You don't get any therapeutic exemptions. None of that shit. That is over. You have took sole advantage of the boxing format on inflating your record. Now you have to deal with the results. You have to deal with those high numbers, bro. You cannot become a black Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. You cannot become him. Damn near 60 fights and people ain't talking about you. Travis Bryan on deck. I see you, L Dog in the building. I got to see Boots, man. Terrence Howard voice. Man. I got to see Boots, man. Dun Dot on deck. What's good with it, Dun Dot? Look, I'm just saying, when you hear an article like this, and Boots say, well, I never was a co-main eventer. He always felt in his heart. Now, if you feeling deep down inside, brother, if you've never been a co-main and you think you that star, you need to shine in a whole different light. You need to put yourself up there. Well, when people look up, when it comes to upcoming fights, when they see your name, they should perk up. It should start to glow a little bit. The reflection of your name should reflect off their pupils. They should be, oh shit, Jaron on deck. Let me see what the schedule's like. Let me see what that schedule's like right there. I think I can get off that weekend. I gotta see that brother fight in person. You know what I'm saying? People start going through their damn Rolodex. Okay, let me see. What can I do? Can I maneuver that right there? I know I can make that work. I got this many days. I got 15 days sick leave. I think I'm gonna take 3-4 days off. I'm gonna go up there on fight week, man. I gotta see this brother fight. Nobody's rearranging any of that for you right now. Like I said, it's not like it can't happen there, Boots. But WCS is disagreeing with you on this one. Bro, don't do it to yourself there, Ennis. Don't try to believe that when you present this to Showtime, if they choose to put you on a main eventer, that it's not going to be on a lower tier regional card. With 30 victories and your name and you're an interim title holder, bro, you don't need that. You don't need that in your life, homie. You don't need that. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. You know, when you threw that hook out the Errol Spence, and talking about the big fish and all that. Understand what you're trying to swim in yourself. You're swimming in dangerous waters, because if you attempt to do a pay-per-view and the numbers is just like the debris that's floating on the surface in that little pond you're trying to swim in, it's going to look all grimy for you. Even more grimier than it is now, bro. You don't want to try to go over there and do a pay-per-view and your numbers come back. Do you hear of the superstars trying to do a pay-per-view and the numbers are coming back low, brother? Are you looking at this shit? Are you paying attention? Do you have a CFO on deck? You want to attempt to try your hand in the pay-per-view pond. I can't put you in the goddamn current of an ocean. I can't put you in a lake, brother. You have to start off in a pond. You haven't been that guy yet. Do you really want to get all grimy with all the debris floating on the freaking surface and trying to say, I think I'm ready for a pay-per-view? I think I'm ready for a pay-per-view. What's your seat capacity going to be like? Where do you want to fight first at a pay-per-view? You think it'll be wise for you to fight close to your backyard? You think it'll be wise for you to fight close to people that's going to come out and see you? I'm telling you that you're setting yourself up for freaking, you're setting yourself up for the okie doke, because you don't want to fight so close to home and them pay-per-view numbers come back and they suck. You don't want to do that to yourself. What you need, like somebody mentioned earlier, if Keith Thurman isn't locked in, you need to fight a Keith Thurman. But you need to go in there and give Keith Thurman something that nobody else has been able to do in the ring. You know what I'm saying? If Manny Pacquiao dropped Keith Thurman once, you need to drop him 3 times. You need to show that fight, just that night, it was just one of those damn styles that just didn't match up real good for you, and you couldn't make the necessary changes. You need to fight somebody like Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman was once unified champion. That's why his name still has Wall Street to it. The man has one defeat to his record to a legend there, Jaron Ennis. A legend. Though he was older, Manny Pacquiao was a legend, is a legend, bro. It don't look as bad for Keith Thurman. So being that he still has Wall Street to his name, that's who you need to scoop up. You need to scoop up the former unified welterweight world champion, and you need to go in there and send him into retirement. You go in there and send him to retirement, I guarantee you people are gonna be calling. Hey, Boots, can you come in here for an interview? Hey, Boots, we want to talk to you. Don't get an attitude. You know what I'm saying? Don't get an attitude. It's just the way of the land, man. It's just the way it works out. Like, bro, I'm not agreeing with you on this. Let me be honest. I don't agree. Boots don't want to upset the puppet master. He saw what he did to Gary Russell Jr. Now, Boots isn't that guy, first of all. Him and Gary Russell's personality is totally different. And Floyd Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? Boots don't have any type of connection to Floyd Mayweather, any way, shape, or form like that. So it doesn't have too much to, Al Heyman isn't the guy who is preventing freaking Gary Russell at that time. No, it may have been some of his colleagues, Al Heyman colleagues, that may have put in roadblocks and obstacles up there, but it wasn't Al Heyman per se. When it comes to Jaron Ennis, they supposed to have an agreement with Showtime. Yes, Al Heyman may have some attachment or umbilical cord to Showtime, but yet it's not going to affect Jaron Ennis from eating. It's not going to affect him from eating. At this point in time, he had a fight earlier this year on a very solid card with a main eventer who is about to go in here for one of the biggest fights of the year. Everybody's talking about Tank Davis. They're not talking about Tank Davis. When they mention Tank Davis and Hector Garcia, they mention Boots. It don't trickle down like that. If they do mention you, they're gonna say, you know what? He could have did a lot better. I expected more from him. He didn't give me what I was looking for. I feel like I should get a refund prorated. I should get a prorated reimbursement for my time. But you know what? I'm being petty. No, I'm just gonna say, the main event did it for me, so I got my money's worth. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But Boots, just you do what you do, man. I ain't telling you what to do. Let me go on to what it says down here, right? In the article Boxing Scene put out. It said the deafening sounds of the crowd, along with the hefty paychecks, is something that Ennis now envisions for himself. With his name linked to a number of highly ranked contenders at 147, Ennis is simply waiting to receive the call to make his return to the ring. When his line is ultimately given a buzz, hopefully that he'll be given the opportunity to headline his own show on the grandest of stages. Though it may not be entirely pragmatic currently, pay attention to pragmatic, okay? Let me pause right quick, because I always like to not just read off $5 words and people may not understand, but pragmatic means dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. Practical. Is it practical, right? It may not be entirely practical. 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 It may not be realistic. It may not be practical. In his view, anything less than a main event slot would be a step in the wrong direction. Though it may not be entirely pragmatic, in his view, anything less than a main event slot would be a step in the wrong direction. I want to go to the next level. I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. I get it. But if you be in a co-main event and you still looking for that turning point, that step out fight, then you're not going backwards if you the co-main event and never been the main event like that. You were just holding your ground and holding your space and put on that fight until those matchmakers call you up and say, "Hey, it's time, man. This is what we want to do. We want to schedule a fight for you here, and you're going to be the main eventer." Now check this out. Now let's get into the undercard. Who are they going to put? First of all, as the main event with Boots, it has to be a name. And who are they going to put up on the undercard to basically complement, dress it up real nice? What names are they going to put on the undercard for Boots to build up and complement and assist with his success on fight night? Who can those fighters be? Who can those fighters be over there? Who can they be? You really have to pay consideration Who is it going to be? That's my biggest question, y'all. If you want to do a main event and you think you just going to be the main event and people going to come and see you fight and go home, who is going to compliment you? It's a lot of fighters that's coming up right now that's going to tell TGB or tell Showtime, I don't even think I should be his on the card. It's a lot of fighters out there that's thinking, I think I should be, you know what I'm saying? I think I should be the co-main event. I did more, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think I should be the main event. I think I did more than Boots Ennis. But Boots is looking at it like in one breath, he feels like his name is higher than most. He feels like his 30-0 record is definitely something that should be respected at the end of the day. And also, he's going to put out there in bow tie with his rankings. He say, I am an interim IBF title holder. Doesn't that stand for something? I got to get my Brian Custer. Well, I don't. You know what I'm saying? Look at Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia won an interim title. Anybody talk about it? Rolly Romero won an interim title. Anybody talk about it? There's been plenty of people to win interim titles, and no one really cares. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is, Boots. But you and your team is doing a heck of a job over there. This live wasn't to slight you in any way. You know what I'm saying? Any way, shape, or form. I'm just giving you my opinion that's not based off facts. I'm not trying to push no narrative on you. I don't know you like that. All I'm saying is when I read this article, it took me back to when I was waiting for people to speak on you after your fight with Karen Chudikin, right? I was waiting on them to speak on you. I was waiting to see how long it took for your name to evaporate into these YTC barrels. You know what I'm saying? These septic tanks that is in the YTC. You know what I'm saying? I was just waiting for them to flush you away and not mention your name. And it happened quicker than I thought. Now I'm asking you to basically find a way to build up your personality. You know what I'm saying? Build up your camera time, your lens time. Build up your lens time. Social media is the wave, bro. It was a time when you couldn't really catch Terrence Crawford on social media like that. That has changed. It was a time where you wouldn't really catch Devin Haney on social media. That has changed. It's a lot of fighters that you wouldn't really consider to be social media connoisseurs several months ago. That has changed. Social media is where it is, bro. You got to build up the free promo. You got to find some way, shape, or form. Say, man, has anybody seen the big fish? I'm about to send somebody out there to that waterway and drain it and see if he's down at the bottom of the basin hiding from me. I'm sending out a search and rescue to sweep it because I'm the IBF interim title holder and I need some action. I need a main event. And what better person to main event than Errol Spence Jr.? I need somebody to dance with. Where is he, bro? But man, y'all hold it down. Until next time, man. You already know what it is. Appreciate y'all for rocking out with the channel, man. Y'all be sure to pass this message to Boots Ennis. And understand one thing over there in Philly. Man, you're talented, bro. You just have to get all the pieces together. You know what I'm saying? You have to put all the pieces together to the point where that progression, people sees how you're moving. People see how you're moving with that progression. You know what I'm saying? You're not just moving in the darkness. Like you want them to identify you in the darkness as well as the light. As in reverse, rather. You want them to identify you in the light as well in the darkness. You need for them to be talking about you regardless if you being under the bright lights or not. They're not doing that right now. They're not doing it. So since they're not talking about you in the welterweight division, which is a pretty hot division, you should see a problem with that. And I'm pretty sure you and your team will come up with it. You'll come up with a plan or whatever. You need to start calling out somebody else, man. We can't see another Custio Clay, another Thomas Delorme, another freaking, Chris Van Heeren. Why don't you rematch him or something? I don't know. We can't see another Sergey Lipin. Yes, even though he had 140, he ain't come back up here. Leave him alone. But we don't need somebody else to come up from 140 and fight you. It's some names that's at the welterweight division that's out there for you to fight, man. Somebody mentioned Cody Crowley. You know what I'm saying? Somebody mentioned him. Let's frolic. You know what I'm saying? I heard Romain Villa has a pretty interesting fight, coming up. Villa made his name by going in there and giving the performance against Rashidi Ellis that you should have given versus Korean Chudigan. I'm just lining this shit up for you there, Boots. On my way out the door, bro. Your Dennis Ugas. He's out there. That's a name. He's been champion. For real. He's been champion, brother. Mario Barrios. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Mario Barrios just came out a good win once again. He did to Gervonta Santiago that you should have did to Korean Chudigan. I'm just putting it out there, bro. What about Conor Benn? You don't want no Conor Benn? Supposedly, that clomiphene, it was from eating too much eggs for him put on, good muscle mass to move up and fight, his nemesis. You know what I'm saying? Chris Eubanks Jr., with the namesake on the line. Look for Conor Benn, bro. For real. Look for him. I mean, you got to find the Keith Thurmans, man. I don't know if Blair Cobbs is trying to go that way or not. He's been calling you out for a minute, showing up to the fights, talking shit. It'll be a good time to kind of put your name out there, brother. You know what I'm saying? Blair Cobb's been talking mad crazy for a long period of time. Don't want to see you and Rashidi Ellis. That is going backwards. That is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Y'all gonna have to figure it out there, brother. I know it's tough, but y'all gonna have to figure it out. Until next time, man, y'all turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports, man. And big shout out to Mr. Gumbo, man, for the $50 super chat. Shout out to Jamal Neezy for the $2 super chat, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Let me put Jamal Neezy's super chat up there. You know what I'm saying? If I forgot to put it up there, salute to Jamal Neezy with the $2 super chat. No doubt, brother. And I'm out.